Test. Oh, it looks like volume is working. For the last couple of days, the microphone has not been working. So I just plan to do a silent meditation today, but looks like God has other plans. So a warm welcome to anyone who's new to this channel. This channel is dedicated to the life, work, and teachings of a very special teacher named Bruno Groening. You can find out more about him on the website, The Healing Stream. You know, one thing that Bruno Groening said is he said that we human beings are divine creations, that we are divine marvels, that we're children of God. And I normally start off almost every video that way. I didn't today because I was shocked to see that my microphone was working. But it's really something to think about, that you and me and all of us, even the people we don't like, even the people who are behaving poorly, even the people who are behaving horrifically, are divine creations and divine marvels. And, Bruno said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I have almost the exact words, is to look for the divinity in other human beings. Look for it and have reverence for it more and more. It's a beautiful thing to walk down the street or walk through the mall and look for the divinity in every person that you see. It's a beautiful way to make connecting with other people literally a form of meditation and to some extent worship. Not that we're going to worship other people, but we can really have reverence for the fact that God is in everyone and even everything. Bruno said God is everywhere and in everything. And he's not the first great teacher to say such things. So hello, warm welcome to you, you divine creation, you divine marvel, you child of God. All right, enough talking. Let's go ahead and do what I was planning to do, which is to practice what Bruno Groening taught, to receive divine energy that can actually heal. It's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor. Legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed, upright position. If possible, not leaning against your chair. And also, please don't be stiff in the back and also don't be slouched. Find a nice, relaxed, upright position. Really set aside all burdens or worries. As Bruno said, mentally put them behind you or hand them over to your understanding of a higher power. And then think of something that makes you happy, that brings great joy. A memory, a beloved person, a beloved animal friend, something that just fills you with joy. Think about that for a moment. Remember that. And then ask to receive the healing stream, the divine transmission, and observe your body having the will, the intention to take that energy in. The mind wanders off, bring it back to the intention to receive and the intention to release everything that doesn't serve. taking in goodness, releasing what isn't good, or letting ourselves be cleansed of what is not good. Just keep coming back to receiving divine blessing. All right, I'm going to share a few words. Welcome to everyone who's joining in live, and welcome to everyone watching the replay. For those who are joining in live, my apologies. I kind of did some false advertising. I said silent meditation because my microphone wasn't working, and it is. So, and actually, before we get into words, if we have any special prayer requests for ourselves or anyone in our lives, let's take a moment and inwardly ask that all this good energy we've built up for the most beneficial outcome for any particular situation. Let's ask for the highest blessing for Mother Earth and everything that lives on it. Thank you, thank you. I'm building in the habit at the end of whenever I tune in, even if it's just for 5 minutes, of asking for other people and for the earth and everyone who lives here as a whole. So thanks for joining in with me on that. So for me, it's morning. For some of you, it might be afternoon or evening, depending when you're watching this or where you are in the world. I wish you a beautiful moment. Thank you for joining in. I have started reading this amazing book again. It's called Powers of the Spirit by Alfred Hosp. You can get it on the Bruno Groening Stiftung. I highly recommend it. There's this hypothetical question, like, if you're trapped on an island and you could only take one book, what book would you take with you? I don't know if this would be the one, but this would be in my top 3, if not the one. This book has literally changed my life. So I look forward to, I've started reading it again. I haven't read it in a while, and I'm starting reading it again, and I'm excited to share some insights. And so the person Alfred Hosp, for some of you that name is new. Some of you have heard of Alfred, or Freddie, as he was called. And so Freddie had a very close and deep connection with Bruno. My understanding is that Bruno Groening gave out small tinfoil balls to, who knows, thousands of people. But he gave out 3 giant balls, that are like this big. One of them he gave to Greta Hausler. One of them he gave to someone named Mr. Loy. And one of them he gave to Freddie. So my view is that those 3 people were the people whom Bruno trusted the most to carry his message and his work along. That, of course, is just my opinion. But regardless, I have profound respect for this book and for Freddie. And so I'm going to share a little bit from Freddie's first interaction with Bruno Groening. Actually, his first interaction happened by a picture. His mother sent Bruno a letter about Freddie. Freddie had severe health challenges, and they got a picture back from Bruno. Here's a copy of the picture they received back. And Bruno wrote on it, "There is much that cannot be explained, but there is nothing that cannot occur." And then his signature, Groening. So just from receiving that picture and looking at it, Freddie had a healing. Freddie stood up out of his wheelchair, something he had not been able to do for a very long time, and that was just by a picture. So their first interaction, you could say, was not a physical one, but a spiritual one, across distance. But in their first interaction, Bruno Groening's first words, and I'm on page 26 for anyone who has this book. And here's what Freddie said. Then Bruno Groening suddenly came up to me, squatted in front of me, looked deep into my eyes, and asked me with great seriousness. And by the way, this is the first interaction, and these are the first words that Bruno ever said to Freddie. So again, then Bruno Groening suddenly came up to me, squatted in front of me, looked deep into my eyes, and asked with great seriousness, "Will you help me?" That's what Bruno said to Freddie. "Will you help me?" In my initial bafflement, I had no idea how to begin to answer this question. I did not understand what it meant, since I had come to him because I myself was in the greatest need of help. Freddie had very serious health issues, multiple ones. Nevertheless, although I was rather uncertain on the inside, out of sheer politeness, I answered with a firm yes. "That is good then," replied Bruno Groening. That was their first interaction. And it really strikes me, and it struck me, and it strikes me that those were the first words that Bruno Groening said to him. "Will you help me?" Now, of course, there's many ways to interpret that. Freddie, of course, became one of the people who really carried Bruno's work forward, and I believe this book is part of that. But so that's one level. The other level, I think Bruno is saying to Freddie, "Will you help me in this healing process?" Because so a healing can happen with no effort on our part. For example, the first healing that Freddie had, he just looked at a picture. That's not a whole lot of effort. Freddie didn't really participate much in that healing, right? A really cool story was this woman was just surfing the internet, and she somehow came onto a Bruno website, and she had a healing of intense anxiety disorder just because she showed up at a website. The former country leader, the U.S. country leader for the Bruno Groening Circle of Friends, he went to an introductory meeting and he had 3 healings, including morphine addiction, depression, and I think the third one was chronic pain, just because he went to a meeting. Like he tuned in for 5 minutes at the meeting, right? At an introductory meeting, you don't really tune in much. He didn't put in much effort. He drove his car to a meeting. So that happens. And I've experienced some effortless healings myself, and I've shared about them. But that, in my view, is not that's a very small part, these completely effortless healings. Most healings occur with our help, right? We tune in. We give the thoughts away. We cultivate faith. Being the main aspects, I think the main one being tuning in and being, even initially for some of us, even just being open or opening our minds or deepening our faith is our part in the healing process. It's not like we do nothing and Bruno does everything. In fact, Bruno once said, "I will do what you can no longer do for yourself." But he didn't say, "I'll do everything for you." He did say he would guide us along the path, but he didn't say he would walk the path for us. My understanding is he said he would walk the path with us. He would help us. He said this life is a school. He can help us in that learning. In my experience, can help with that learning. And maybe he even orchestrates some of the lessons, but he doesn't do the learning for us. We have to learn. And as he said, if you want to experience the divine, you must strive for it. So it's not just like, "Oh, I do nothing, Bruno takes care of everything." Or, "Oh, I go to community hour every 3 weeks and then I let Bruno do everything else." Or, "Oh, I just give Bruno all my problems and then that's it." Those are part of the path, giving away burdens, going and tuning in with other people. But we have a very much a strong part in it, just as this very short, but I believe poignant interaction that happened between Bruno and Freddie. Again, their first physical interaction. Bruno looking him right in the eyes, saying, "Will you help me?" I've heard people say Bruno will take care of everything, and I believe there's some truth to that, and there's some untruth. The truth is, in my understanding, is that Bruno is fighting for us. In fact, he said that, "I am fighting for you," and he won't give up on us. That's my view. So yes, you could say Bruno will take care of everything. That's where I believe there's some truth to that statement. But where I believe there's untruth is, but he's not. We have to put in our part. It's not just like Bruno drags us along, though I'm sure at some moments Bruno is dragging us along. So the quote I said, I will do what you no longer can do. He said, "Trust in me and I will do what you can no longer do." So it's, Bruno once said, you don't have to believe in me, but you do need to trust in me. So there is this sense of like, we've got to trust that this guy is helping us and knows what he's doing. And we simultaneously need to, in my understanding, work with Bruno. So hopefully, if Bruno Groening would ask each one of us, and I believe Bruno is, in some level, asking each one of us, "Will you help me?" In two senses of the word. Will you help me share this work with other people? And will you participate in the healing spiritual journey? Will you do your part? Almost like Bruno saying, "Look, I'll do my part, but I need you to do your part." So hopefully, if Bruno were to ask this to us, each one of us would say yes. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, MOF. That was on accident. Let's see. So MOF wrote, so I have a touch screen, and sometimes when I touch it to read the comments, they get deleted. I'm very sorry about that. It's not my intention. So MOF wrote, "Remarkable person in story, saving up to buy it. Some readings from his book online and audio translated in German can be a little confusing." Understood. It is an amazing story, and it is an amazing book. And yes, you can find, and thank you for saying that, MOF, you can find some of it on YouTube. There's one YouTube channel where the person reads pieces from it. But yeah, if he reads it in German and translates it, it might not be. This translation is amazing. Whoever did this translation, very, very good translation. So let's help out Bruno Groening. Let's help him help us. Let's set aside all burdens and worries. Let's remind ourselves that nothing is impossible. Or as he wrote on that first picture he sent to Freddie, there is much that cannot be explained, but nothing that cannot occur. If we say such and such cannot occur, we're putting a limit on God. Let's not do that anymore. Placing any burdens and worries in Bruno's hands. Saying, "Yes, Bruno, I will do my part. I will help you to help me." And taking in the divine energy. And let's ask, please, dear God, dear Bruno, for everyone who joined this live and everyone who will watch this video, the highest blessing. Please, God, please, Bruno, for everyone sharing Bruno Groening's work, the highest blessing, all individuals and organizations. Please, God, please, Bruno, for all the friends of Bruno Groening. For our homes, our neighborhoods, our cities, our counties, states, countries, for Mother Earth and every living thing on it. For the great turnaround, first and foremost in our own hearts, back to God, back to nature, back to the belief in the goodness in human beings. For every living thing on this planet. Thank you so very much for joining in. Thank you for saying hi, MOF. So sorry about accidentally deleting your comment. I will not let me undo it. I wish everyone a blessed day. Take care.